Welcome to today's session on stores and cutting processes. This is session 3 and the name of the subject is Fashion, Material and Production Management for Merchandisers. What we're going to talk about, first we're going to talk about fabric stores, then fabric checking, cutting room procedures, marker planning, fabric spreading, cutting machines, and then finally ticketing and bundling. All these things are related to an apparel export house or a garment manufacturing factory. So first we are going to talk about the fabric stores. This is slide number 4, and in this visual you can see there's a large space and fabric has been stored. What you see in the picture are the rolls of fabric, and normally such huge spaces, such huge fabric stores are found in few of the apparel manufacturing factories in India, and then there are many that are there in China, the ones which are so big. Now the fabric store is the place where we store the fabric. Now we're going to talk about the store processes. What happens in the fabric store in terms of the movement of the material and in terms of the types of records which are being maintained in the store and the people who work in the store. Now what happens is that if you need fabric to make samples, or if you need fabric to make bulk production, you have to get in touch with the fabric manager, and the fabric manager is going to arrange the fabric for you. Now what happens as a rule in garment trade, and in fact in most of the businesses, is that if, for example, you get an order of 5,000 pieces, you don't make the 5,000 pieces, you make the first piece, show it to your client, they like it, they give you the approval. If they want any changes to be made, they are going to tell you that, and you are going to incorporate those changes and then make the new sample. The client is going to see the new sample and then give you the approval. Once the approval has been given in totality, only then you are going to go ahead with the bulk production. Now that is exactly what happens in a garment manufacturing house also. So what essentially happens is that when you are talking about fabrics, first thing is, if you get an order, you're going to make the samples. So for the samples you need fabric. So you give the order or you give the requisition to the fabric manager, and the fabric manager is going to get you that fabric, the fabric for sample making, in the required specification. So fabric manager will wait for the requisition from the merchandiser, or it can be the designer, based on which they will find the right supplier. And once they get the right supplier, then they will place the order for the sampling yardage. Sampling yardage is the amount of fabric which is ordered for making of the samples. So what actually happens is that if you look at the entire spectrum of events in an apparel house, when you get an order, you first have to make the samples. For that you have to procure the sampling yardage. Once you make the samples from the sampling yardage, you send it across to the buyer for approval. Once they approve your sample, then you will order the bulk fabric. Once you get the bulk fabric, you send the bulk fabric to the buyer for approval. Once they approve the bulk fabric, only then you will cut the bulk fabric to make the bulk production. So this is broadly what happens when you are going through the process of executing an order of garments. Now, what does the store do? What does the fabric manager do? They will wait for the requisition from the merchandiser or the designer. Once the merchandiser or designer gives the requisition, according to the specification, they will find the right supplier. And then they are going to place the order for sampling yardage. Once they get the sampling yardage, they will send it to the merchandiser or the designer. The merchandiser or the designer will send that sampling yardage to the buyer for approval. If they like it, they approve it, then you can go ahead with the making of the samples. Now once the samples have been approved, of course the bulk production has to be done. Now, how will the bulk production be done? It can be done only after arranging the bulk material. So when you want the bulk fabric, you again have to go to the fabric manager. So you place the order for the bulk fabric with the fabric manager. So there are two situations. If the order is very large, then in that case the fabric will be ordered in splits. If the order is not very large, then the bulk fabric will be ordered at one go. So in case the order is very large, then the fabric manager is going to place the order for bulk fabric, and this order will be for the initial bulk. So let's say you have to order 50,000 meters of fabric. The fabric manager is going to order for, let's say, 20,000 meters. This will be called initial bulk. So when the 20,000 meter comes, then you cut the first meter and send it across to the buyer for approval. Once the buyer approves this fabric, only then you can issue this 20,000 meters to the cutting department for cutting, and then subsequently giving it to the production for stitching of the garment. If the 20,000 meters have been consumed, by that time the fabric manager would have already ordered the remaining 30,000 meters. Now this 30,000 meters will be called final bulk. When this 30,000 meter fabric comes in, again you have to send some meterage of this bulk to the buyer for approval. So the first time when you had 20,000 meters, you send the certain amount of meterage to the buyer for approval. The second time when you are getting the 30,000 meters, from that 30,000 meters again you will send some meters to the buyer for approval. Once the buyer gives the approval, only then you will issue the fabric to the cutting department for cutting. Before the approval, no fabric is to be cut. Now once the fabric manager places the order for bulk fabric, the very important task that they do is they follow up for delivery. So on a daily basis they call up the supplier and ask them what is the status of the order, and they are the main job of the fabric manager is to ensure that they have to breathe down the neck of the supplier so that the supplier delivers the goods on time. Once the goods have been sent, then the store manager, the fabric manager the fabric manager's responsibility is to receive the goods. So once you receive the goods, you have to first check the goods for quantity, whether the quantity is correct or not. Once the quantity has been ascertained, then the fabric has to be sent for inspection. Now the fabric inspection is being done for quality, whether the quality is correct or not, and whether there are any defects or not. Quality means if you need poplin and if the fabric supplier has sent a cambric or a voile, that's not correct, even if it does not have any defects. So first thing is quality. If I have ordered for a poplin or a 12-ounce denim, then first give me 12-ounce denim, then I'm going to see whether there are any defects or not. Now for fabric quality approval, what we do is that we cut out certain amount of fabrics, roughly 1 meter or maybe half a meter, and then we put it onto a swatch card, a cardboard kind of thing, and we send it across to the buyer for approval. Once the approval is received, then the fabric is, now we are talking about the fabric, the grey fabric. Once the grey fabric has been approved, then the fabric will be sent for dyeing and printing or whatever is the program. And once the dyeing or the printing has been done, then it will be received by the store manager or the fabric manager. Now when the fabric is being sent for dyeing or printing, then the fabric manager negotiates with the processor, the dyer or the printer or any other process. So they negotiate for price, they negotiate for delivery, because delivery is of paramount importance, and they also negotiate about the shrinkage. There are some mills which will take a shrinkage of 6%, some take 7%, some take 3% or 4%. So whoever agrees upon a lesser percentage of shrinkage, you should go ahead with that. Now once the order has been placed for dyeing or printing, then again the fabric manager has to follow up for delivery, and once the delivery has been made, then the fabric manager has to receive the processed fabric, dyed, printed or any other process. And once it has been received, then again certain yardage has to be sent to the buyer for approval, and simultaneously a certain amount of fabric, normally half a meter or 1 meter, is sent to the lab test for approvals. Lab test is done for physical and chemical properties, and there is also something called FPT. Now, FPT is fabric package testing. Some buyers ask for an FPT, fabric package testing, and in this FPT all the physical and chemical tests are done by the lab, and the report is sent to the client and also to the factory. Now if everything is found okay, then it is deemed that the processed fabric, which is dyed or printed fabric, now it can be issued for cutting. So once everything is in place, the fabric manager tells the merchandiser, tells the production manager that this fabric has been okayed, lab test has been done, the client has approved it, you can go ahead with the production. So you can go ahead with the production. Now the production department has to say, let's say I have 20,000 meters in my store and it has been approved. So I'm going to wait for the production department to tell me how much fabric do you want today. So the production department says that issue 500 meters to me today. So 500 meters will be issued to the production department, which will go to the cutting department for cutting, and after the cutting, the cut pieces will be sent to the production floor for stitching. And the fabric manager is supposed to issue the material according to the requisition. If the production department wants 500 meters, 700 meters, 1000 meters, whatever quantity you want, I'll give it to you. That's the job of the fabric manager. And one very important task is that the fabric manager should ensure that the correct shade are issued for cutting. Now what we're saying is, let's say, what normally happens, let's say 20,000 meters have been approved. Out of those 20,000 meters, there will be at least about 500 or 700 meters which are not of the correct shade, which are very close but not of the correct shade, and which has not been approved by the buyer. Fabric manager has to ensure that no incorrect shade is issued for cutting, because other than there is a light box in which you can see the difference in the shade. The shades are so close by, and in the normal light, any normal person will not be able to make out between the correct and the incorrect shade. So therefore, if incorrect shade is issued, no one would be able no one will be able to detect that the wrong shade has been issued. So this is something which has to be controlled by the fabric manager. And of course, fabric manager has to manage records at every level. So prima facie speaking, how much fabric has come, that goes into one register. How much fabric has been checked today, that goes into another register. Then how much fabric has been issued for dyeing and printing. Then how much of dyed or printed fabric has been received by the fabric store. And then on a daily basis, how much of fabric is being issued to the cutting department. All of that. So there are many different records that have to be maintained in the fabric department. And please remember that 70 rupees out of 100 rupees, if a garment can be made in 100 rupees, 70 rupees on an average is the cost of the fabric. So the most valuable raw material is in the fabric store. Crores of rupees worth of goods are there. So therefore, managing records correctly and timely is very, very important, and the most important function of the fabric manager. So that's the function of fabric department or the fabric store. Now we're going to talk about fabric checking. So once the fabric has been received and the quantities has been checked, the mill has said that we have sent you 20,000 meters. You have to check whether it is 20,000 or not. If it is not 20,000, if it is, let's say, 19,820 meters, so you send the message to the mill that you have sent 180 meters less in that 20,000 meters. So we will only be paying you for 19,200 meters. Now once the quantity has been taken care of, then we come to the fabric checking. Now fabric checking is again something which is done in the fabric department itself, and there are fabric checkers who do the checking of the fabric. Now when we talk about the fabric checking, fabric is checked at the gray stage also, and once the fabric has been dyed or printed or any other application has been done, again it is checked. Now there are different types of fabric approval. So different types of fabric require different types of approval. So first, every fabric that we consider for approval, every fabric has the quality in terms of count, GSM, weave. So first thing that we see in a fabric is count. So the warp and the weft, what is the count, whether the count is correct or not as per the given specification. That's one. Number two is GSM, which is grams per square meter. That is, let's say, the average weight per given area, that is grams per square meter. So if you say that I need 100 GSM, 100 grams per square meter, 100 GSM of fabric, then the GSM should be somewhere around, let's say, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, not 80 or 120. So the count should be correct, the GSM should be correct, and the weave should be correct. So when we say weave, so normally we have three types of weaves. One is the plain weave, second is the twill weave, and third is the satin weave. And all the other weaves are a combination of the plain weave, twill weave, and the satin weave. Then we talk about the solids. So if a fabric is in a single color, we call it a solid color. So in case fabric is in solid color, then the sample or that thing that we submit to the buyer for approval is called a lab dip. Similarly, if it is a print program, if you get an order in which the garment is made out of printed fabric, in that case, the sample that we submit to the buyer for approval is called a strike off. We're going to discuss all of these in detail. And then if you talk about a yarn dyed fabric, yarn dyed fabrics are those in which the yarns are first dyed and then they are woven. Now in case of yarn dyes, the sample that we submit to the buyer for approval is called a yarn dip, or a desk loom, or a bit loom, or a pit loom. And if we are talking about embroideries, that in that case the artwork or the picture of the embroidery is provided by the buyer, and what the factory has to do is to prepare a sample in which the embroidery is done and it is submitted for approval, and that's called an artwork. And in case of knitted garments, let's say a sweater, for example, in case of knitted garments, what we submit for approval is called a knit down approval. So we're going to talk about these one by one. So in case of fabric quality, like we discussed, first thing that we see is whether the count is correct or not. So count is the fineness of the yarn, and construction is the ends per inch and picks per inch. And then we go on to GSM, which is grams per square inch, which is the average weight of the fabric. And then we also check the weave, which is plain twill or satin weave. Once all of these parameters have been checked and have been found correct, then we move on to solids. So the fabric program description, if it is in solid color, then the submission that we do is called a lab dip. Like we see, either we have a red color or a blue color fabric, no other color in between, so we call it solid. And then we talk about prints. The fabric program description is prints, and what we submit is called a strike off. A strike off is what you see over here, a piece of fabric on which print sample has been done and is sent to the buyer for approval. From this strike off, the buyer will be able to make out what would the entire fabric look like. And in case of yarn dyes, the submission is called bit loom. What is actually done is that on a small, it's called a baby loom, just like we have a hand loom. So what we do is that on a small loom, which is called a baby loom, the yarn dyed fabric is made the width is normally about 22 inches, and the check or the stripe is made about 2 to 3 meters, and they are made and then immediately sent to the buyer for approval. If the buyer has any comment in terms of they don't like the shape, or they want some different width, or if they don't like some particular color, if they want it to be lighter, darker, or things like that, they will send their comments by email, and these changes have to be incorporated. So what we have to do is we have to again submit the new sample, the new bitloom in which the comments have been incorporated. And once the buyer approves the bitloom, only then we can go ahead with the dyeing of the yarn and weaving of the bulk fabric. And if we are looking at an embroidery program, in that case the fabric program description is embroidery, and the first submission for approval is called the embroidery header. And in the visual that you see, let's say if it is a flower embroidery or if it is a house embroidery, so in that case, instead of making the entire garment, only the embroidery is made and sent across to the buyer for approval in terms of the shape, size, combination of the colors, and the technique of embroidery and other details. And once the buyer gives the approval on the embroidery, then we can go ahead with the bulk production, in which the bulk embroidery can be done. And if you talk about the knits, then let's say we're looking at a sweater with a particular structure. Then instead of making the entire sweater, a small part of the knitted structure is made, and this can be made quickly and can be sent across to the buyer for approval. Once the buyer gives the approval on the structure, then the entire sweater can be made and sent across for the approval of the entire garment. So to save time, instead of making the entire garment in the given structure, we just make the structure and send it for approval, and once it is approved, then we can make the entire garment and send for the final approval. So those were the different types of fabric or different types of fabric program and the corresponding submission that is to be made to the buyer for approval. Now we come to the next concept related to fabric checking, which is fabric inspection system. Now, this is one of the most important system that we have in place, the fabric inspection system, in which the system is such that it can be learned by any lay person, and that lay person using this system can do the checking of the fabric and record the details related to the defects which are there in the fabric, and also ascertain or determine whether this fabric can be used or has to be rejected by the factory. Now the next visual that you see, slide number 17, we have these three fabric inspection machine. These are colored denims, and these colored denims are being inspected by the fabric checkers. The fabric checkers are standing, and there is a slant slope. There is a slant surface on which the fabric is being rolled, and there are lights on the top under which the fabric can be seen and the defects can be detected and can be noted down that at which meterage what type of defect was found. The next visual again, you can see it is a printed fabric, and there is a lady who is checking the fabric on a slant surface, and there are tube lights there are overhead tube lights, and there are those buttons at the side to start, to stop, and to regulate the speed. And with the help of this regulators, the machine can be used, and what the machine does is that it moves the fabric, and the person who is supposed to check the fabric only has to look at the fabric while the fabric is moving, and from one side it is getting unrolled and on the other side it is getting wound onto another spool. Now how is it inspected? So worldwide 4-point fabric inspection system is used. This 4-point fabric inspection system is also called American Apparel Manufacturers Association, a point grading system for determining fabric quality. It is widely used by producers of apparel fabrics and by the American Department of Defense. Initially it was started by JCPenney, and this 4-point fabric inspection system is the most famous and the most used inspection system in the world. Now let's see how does this fabric inspection system work. Now the fabric checkers, they are first given training in terms of identifying the defects. Once they know what are the different types of defects, then they can see the defects and they can actually measure the size of the defect. Now the table that you see in front of you is fairly simple. It says the fabric inspection system is based on the system where the fabric flaws or the defects are assigned point values based on the following. Now if there is a defect which is up to 2 inches, it can be 0.5 inches, 2 inches, up to 3 inches. So if it is up to 3 inches, the point allotted is 1. And if the defect is between 3 to 6 inches, if the size of the defect is more than 3 inches and less than 6 inches, then the point allotted is 2. Similarly, a defect which is more than 6 inches but less than 9 inches, the point allotted is 3. And if the defect is more than 9 inches, the point allotted is 4. If there are holes or openings, then you look at the largest dimension, and if the largest dimension is less than equal to 1 inches, then the point allotted is 2. If these holes or openings are more than 1 inch, the largest dimension is more than 1 inch, then the point allotted is 4. So now if a person knows what are the different types of defects, then the person can now look at the defects, measure it, and based on the size of the defect, the checker can allot the points and accordingly evaluate a yardage of fabric. Now we have an example over here. Let's say there is a fabric roll of 120 yards long and it is 48 inches wide, and upon checking, the checker finds the following defects. The checker finds there are 2 defects which are less than 3 inches in size. There are 5 defects which are more than 3 inches but less than 6 inches. There is 1 defect which is more than 6 inches but less than 9 inches. And there is 1 defect which is more than 9 inches in size. Now, any defect which is less than 3 inches, the weightage is 1. So that's why in case of A, the frequency of defect is 2 and the weightage that the defect has is 1 because it is less than 3 inches. So 2 into 1 is equal to 2. Now in case of B, there are 5 defects, but these defects are more than 3 inches in size but less than 6 inches, and the weightage of the defect now is 2. So 5 defects multiplied by 2 is equal to 10. So similarly we have 1 into 3 is equal to 3 and 1 into 4 which is equal to 4. The bigger the defect, the point is higher. Now the thumb rule is that if you check 100 square yards and the number of points is more than 40 or more than 40, then the fabric has to be rejected. So in this case, the person has checked 120 yards and the width of the fabric is 48 inches, and these are the defects. 2 defects less than 3 inches, 5 defects between 3 to 6, 1 defect between 6 to 9, and 1 defect which is more than 9 inches in size. So the total points that we have over here is 2 plus 10 plus 3 plus 4, which is 19 points. Now how do we calculate? So the formula here is points per 100 square yards, which should not be more than 40. So if you want to find out points per 100 square yards, then the formula is, on the numerator we have total points scored in the roll multiplied with 3600. The total points here was 19. and you multiply it with 3600 and you divide it by the fabric width in inches and the total yards inspected. So the fabric width in inches was 48 inches and the total yards inspected was 120. So we now see that we are going to multiply 19 into 3600 divided by 48 into 120, and what we get is 11.9 defects, 11.9 defect points per 100 square yards. And our thumb rule was worldwide, what has been accepted is that in 100 square yards the number of defect points should not be more than 40. Now here the total the defect point is 11.9, which is far less than 40. So therefore the checker can himself or herself ascertain that this particular roll or the yardage is acceptable, and this is something which can be learnt by any person, and therefore any person who is checking the fabric, they don't have to go to anyone to ask whether they should accept this fabric or reject it. They themselves know the benchmark or the method of deciding whether a fabric can be accepted or it has to be rejected. Then there is another concept of shade lot and shade bands. Now, when we talked about placing the order of 20,000 meters of fabrics, because dyeing or printing is not a perfect science, what we see is that we get different lots in once the fabric has been dyed. Now, lot means, just like on slide 23 we see lot 1, lot 2, lot 3, lot 4, lot 5. Now these lots are such fabrics which have been segregated as per the shade. Now the order for 20,000 meters was in blue color, and you can see that all these lots are in blue color, and if you go from lot 1 to lot 2 there is a very slight change, then from lot 2 to lot 3 again there is a slight change, and likewise from lot 3 to 4 to 5. But if you keep lot 5 against lot 1, you can see the difference, and the difference is very large. So and what happens is that when you dye 5,000 or 10,000 or 20,000 meters, you will get at least 4 to 5 lots, meaning to say that you will get the fabric, when you check the fabric for shade, you will see 4 to 5 different shades of fabric, even though they have been dyed together. And that is because the fibers have been taken from different regions of India. It is mixed with Egyptian cotton which comes from Egypt, so the dye absorbability differs, and because of that, even when these 20,000 meters have been dyed at one go, still the fabric will absorb the dye with variable absorbability, because of which we have different shades. Now these shades are very, very close to each other, but they are different from each other. Now, so once the 20,000 meters have been received and the segregation has been done as per the shade, different shades. So lot 1, there are different shades in terms of intensity, and lot 1 and lot 2 and lot 3, these are in different color altogether. These are different shade. So that's why lot 1 is set of those fabrics which are in the same direction, but the intensity is changing. But lot 1 and lot 2 are two different shades altogether. Now when you are getting these 5 lots, we have to submit these 5 lots to the buyer for approval, and the buyer may approve, let's say, lot 1, 2 and 3, and may say that lot 4 and lot 5 are very dark and please get it corrected or get it re-dyed. So vertically we have shade lots, and horizontally we have the shade band. So this group of lot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is called a shade band, which we have to make every time we get the bulk fabric dyed, and we have to present this in the same form to the buyer for approval. And then we have this register in which issuance of fabric to cutting has been recorded, and this is one such instance where the style number is A2536 and the description is Mango tree print skirt. So this is an order by Mango, and it's a skirt, and the style number is A2536, And if you can see on 2nd of February 2016, 236 meters have been issued by the fabric department, and the person who came from the cutting department to receive the fabric, that person's name is Ramlal, and his signature has been taken on the slot reserved for signature. Second day, if you see, 345 meters, second day, which is 3rd of February 2016. So second day 345 meters have been issued, and the person from the cutting department who has come to receive it is Shamla, and accordingly. So at any given point of time, at a later date, if someone says that you have only given us 19,000 meters, you did not give us 20,000 meters, you can show this record and show them that which person from the cutting department came to receive the fabric, and the person has signed, which is a proof that this much amount of fabric was given to the cutting department. There are different stages of fabric. Depending on the situation, we give a particular label to the fabric. So whenever we are using a particular fabric for making of samples, we call it sampling fabric. When we are using a particular fabric for making of final production, then we call it bulk fabric. And like we discussed, if the order size is very high, let's say 50,000 meters, then we do not order 50,000 meters at one go. We order first 20,000 meters, and then maybe 30,000 meters, or maybe 20,000 meters again, and 10,000 meters. So maybe we split it in 20, 20, 10. So the 20,000 meters which comes first is called an initial bulk. And let's say the third order which you placed for 10,000 meters, that is labeled as final bulk. And then we have the surplus fabric. Once let's say the order was for 20,000 pieces of garment, and it was estimated that every garment would consume about 2.5 meters. So therefore 50,000 meters were ordered. Now if you have already made 20,000 garments and you still have about 2,000 meters of fabric left, and the number of garments are already made, then these leftover 2,000 meter fabric is called a surplus fabric. So with that, we come to the end of the first section of this session, in which we have talked about the fabric store, the responsibilities of the fabric manager, and then we talked about the fabric checking, the fabric inspection system, and the various concepts related to fabrics which are related to the fabric store.